this debt, this destruction.
Global news impacts us.
We have to change the way we live. This is why we need independent media.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hard Lens Media. Just a couple things I want to clarify real quick. We did do a Rockfin live stream. However, we did lose the live stream signal, but we did record the episode, so it will be available later tonight. FaZe is already uploading it onto our Rockfin account. We do apologize for that inconvenience, but it will be available to all of our viewers and subscribers on Rockfin. And again, just a quick reminder about Rockfin now. Next week, it will be only in the evenings. We don't have a set time for it, but
It'll happen. It'll happen, though.
It will happen.
There will be 3 shows about the same days, similar times.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be real awesome to all of our wonderful subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed to us on Rockfin, please consider doing so. It will really help us out as a channel. Our main goal is to make it different than our YouTube channel. I also want to give an acknowledgement to a brand new Patreon supporter that has recently signed up, and I want to give their name a shout out. So shout out to Beatrice Westrate, $1 per month. Thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. And also shout out to these people who operate Hard Lens Media for 45 minutes per month. Shout out to Jose Manuel Amza Jr., Judas Ferris, Larry Larson, Sandra Brion, Deep Dish Pizza Enthusiast, Edward Heller.
I wonder if we know that guy.
Bagamishi Kangudala, Jude Inkiego, Blaze It 24/7. I agree with that. Gary Getzeruts, First Name, and Fingerman, the hero we need, not the one we deserve.
I guess.
Yes, exactly. So Hard Lens Media is live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be sure to check out our fun channel, Chicago Reacts. Please consider joining our Discord. Also follow us on Twitter. And if you want to support independent media, support the 99 Perspective Studio, please consider being a Patreon supporter. We are working on actually a top secret project. I can't give too much away, but it's dare I say it,
funny.
It's probably one of the most funniest things we worked on besides the Smash Teeth commercial.
I think when it's finished, it may even eclipse it. It's wonderful. We'll let you know when that happens, though, and I hope you guys laugh as hard as we did.
Yes, I am surprised how well this all turned out.
I can't think of a more wacky way to promote Patreon.
Yep. And also want to give a shout out to all of our wonderful moderators. Shout out to Gamer for Life, Ayana, Alexandria, Mona Carmona, Fred Edward, and E. Heller. So they're doing a lot of good work for us. Shout out to Daniel Upker, and shout out to our tech brief engineer FaZe for manning the board. But with that being said, we are going to get started with our first segment. So can we just get the camera on me real quick? These are 2 different individuals who have royally screwed up. There's Ted Cruz and Chris Cuomo. And I decided to put them back to back because they're both shining examples of what's wrong with politics in this country. The Democratic and Republican establishment only cater to the top 1%. The GOP and DNC are friends with each other, and there's this one common thing that they have. They keep screwing over their constituents. There's this situation in Texas where Ted Cruz is in Cancun, and then you got Governor Chris Cuomo, whom everyone was saying was a leader and somebody who was leading, but it turns out he wasn't leading anything at all and was willing to turn a blind eye to the deaths that were happening in senior citizen homes in New York City. Or across New York State as a whole.
I gotta throw this out there from Holly. Wonderful, wonderful. Fled Cruz.
Oh,
that's so great.
That's great. And with that being said, let's actually play this first video from Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. This has to deal with good old lying, Ted.
Cruz, he's been totally shamed, exposed for going full Trump. That means lying about leaving Texas for Mexico to avoid the cold and avoid his duty to the Texans he serves, and then denying what he obviously did, despite tonight being outed by his wife. New information. First, remember though, he said he was just a chaperone. School's canceled for the week, or girls wanted to take a trip with friends, wanted to be a good dad. I flew down with them, but you know, like he was just going down to come back. Then the texts from the wife come out. Busted. The New York Times got a hold of these messages sent by Heidi Cruz to friends, and they reveal what you would all suspect. They were planning a trip. They pushed it off to Sunday because their home was, quote, freezing They even reportedly invited others to join them at the Ritz. Gotta say, damn, what does it tell you when even his friends go bad on Ted Cruz, leaking texts like this, supposedly among friends? So, what happens next? We see Flying Ted scrambling back to Texas and with a new spin.
The plan had been to stay through the weekend with the family. That was the plan. I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane. But I also have a responsibility that I take very seriously of fighting for the state of Texas. Look, it was obviously a mistake, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it.
Lying, Ted.
You must be worried, though, because he went running back to Fox tonight to get a pass. I wonder who he's going to blame. You think it's going to be the media or the left or both? Who's going to get blamed for what he did?
You tell him, Fredo.
Next.
All right. Well, there's the thing with Fredo really giving it to Ted Cruz. And look, let's face it, Ted Cruz is a horrible leader. The people of the state of Texas deserve someone far, far better than the Zodiac. Well, I guess I can't use the K word. Yeah. The son of the Zodiac.
Zodiac Flutter.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Zodiac Flutter. Yeah. So, look, and here's the thing. Why, he left his state when they needed him the most. That's what Ted Cruz did. But I also want to bring up this comparison as well, because I want to talk about good old Governor Cuomo, Fredo's older brother. And we have to address this, and we talked about this on the show just a few days ago.
We've been talking about it a few days ago, but we also talked about it in the fall when it was happening, and we were like, hey, why is no one pointing out that this guy has basically abandoned nursing homes for a buck?
Well, the reason why, Daniel, is because the people wanted a fireside chat with a leader that was very humble and could understand their pain. That's right. We're talking about Governor Cuomo. Let's play this video.
Cuomo under investigation by the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office in Brooklyn. A senior official familiar with the preliminary inquiry tells NBC News it involves how state task force members handled coronavirus deaths at nursing homes and long-term care facilities during the pandemic. In the last month, the Cuomo administration has significantly increased the official death count at nursing homes to more than 15,000. No allegations of wrongdoing have been made. Overnight, the Cuomo administration said in a statement, the DOJ has been looking into this for months. We've been cooperating with them, and we will continue to. Meanwhile, Senate Republicans have called on the Department of Justice to investigate what they call, quote, Cuomo's COVID cover-up. They asked that the DOJ probe New York, as well as other states who use similar tactics to readmit sick elderly patients into facilities during the pandemic. Governor Cuomo allegedly threatened a fellow Democratic lawmaker who's been questioning nursing home deaths data for months. It comes after Assemblyman Ron Kim, whose Queen District was hit hard by the coronavirus, spoke out against the governor's handling of the pandemic in a recent interview. Kim told the New York Times that after the article was published, he received a harassing late-night phone call from the governor asking him, quote, "Are you an honorable man?" According to Kim, Cuomo yelled for 10 minutes, threatened to publicly tarnish his name, and urged him to issue a new statement clarifying the remarks.
Wow.
Spokesperson for the governor's
Sounds
office
like a leader.
refutes Kim's claims.
Humble, compassionate.
In a phone call with reporters yesterday, Cuomo
That nice
said the
fireside
two men
chat.
had a, quote, long and hostile relationship. And Assemblyman Ron Kim will be a guest on Morning Joe next hour. Still ahead.
All right, let's pause. All right, let's just address something here real quick. That kind of leadership, that kind of talking down to, is very, very Trumpian of Andrew Cuomo, Fredo's older brother. You know, what kind of lawmaker does that? Not someone who represents the people, but someone who cares about their own image. That's who Chris Cuomo is. Correction, Andrew Cuomo. I get them both confused, but they're both.
Speaking of that, we have a super chat tied to right on that issue.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Shout out to Roger Meadows. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You said, Chris, did you mean Andrew? Yes, I mean Andrew Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, that piece of crap. And he's exactly the same as Ted Cruz. Both of them are politicians. They're professional liars, and they've been in power for far too long. And when it comes down to it, have we really even seen them lead people or be effective representatives of the people? Because I don't think so. Now, you could take away Cuomo's fireside chats as something comforting because, of course, we still had Trump, the orange boogeyman. But at the end of the day, at least Trump was up front with his BS. He didn't have that neoliberal fancy mask on to hide his true motives. Trump was who he was, just like Ted Cruz. Both of them sloppy individuals, care less for the people. But Cuomo had that mask, and he had corporate media there. And of course, he had all of the media outlets just fawning over him, jumping up and down, saying he's a leader, he's somebody we want. Let us not forget, too, that before even the Democratic primary, before the nomination process, there was talk about him potentially getting the nomination, even though it wasn't going to happen. People were humoring that idea because they liked how Governor Andrew Cuomo was talking to the people. Well, here's the real truth. Andrew Cuomo is not an honorable man. He's not a good man if he's going to be threatening a legislator who is calling him out for the fact that Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration was turning a blind eye to the apparent deaths happening at the nursing homes. Daniel.
And it's not just about the death, it's how they happen. Remember, again, we covered this 3 months ago. You can go find that footage somewhere. It was pretty straightforward to us back then. People in the nursing homes were dying. They weren't given adequate protection. And all the people involved with the nursing homes gave, I think we have really two Fredos now, by the way. Gave Fredo two, which is Andrew. I think it was like $100,000, $500,000, $1 million in campaign donations. And then he made them liability proof for the deaths that happened. And now he's being caught with, let's be real, what the news is covering him doing right now is like the lesser charge, which is then taking the death toll numbers and deflating them and then threatening someone who is trying to expose it. But I don't know. I feel like the news is like, we're getting him for something, just not the bad thing, because they don't want to expose the corruption aspect that they make money off of as well. I still think the big crime here is that he took money from nursing homes and then gave them immunity. That seems to be a bigger deal than cutting the count by a third.
And there's so many other things that Governor Cuomo has done in the state of New York that are extremely questionable. And remember, he's part of the Democratic establishment. So what do I mean by him being part of the Democratic establishment? It's exactly the same as the Republican establishment. It's one big club, and you ain't in it. So if that means senior citizens will have to pass away from a pandemic or abandoning your people when there's a major freeze happening, remember, these politicians' number one constituent will and always shall be the top 1%, thanks to the Supreme Court and their decision of Citizens United and McCutcheon's decision, where money is speech and corporations are people. We got to break away from this two-party system. Now more than ever, we need to look at alternatives. And I'm on board of not reforming the Democratic Party or Republican Party. I'm looking at a new party. I'm looking at the People's Party. I'm looking at the Green Party. I'm looking at the Libertarian Party, because we need other options. If this is the best that the Republican and Democratic establishment can give us, it's time for us to break away, because they don't give a crap about us. George Carlin was right. He was right the whole damn time. And I think it's time for all of us to wake the hell up. With that being said, we're going to move on now to our next segment. But before we do, I want to acknowledge a $5 YouTube super chat from Roger Meadows. Heidi's revenge against the husband for not defending her honor against Trump, calling her ugly, and dad probably didn't mind being called JFK's hitman or something, because I don't think I can use the...
whatever. But I think it's also that I remember that video we covered from the primary when Ted Cruz was like, look at the happily family we are, and it starts like, I don't want to touch you. So it also might be her going, what do you mean? Why are you blaming me for a school trip? What are you talking about? You just wanted to come with.
Actually, what was really funny is all the pictures of Ted Cruz being caught at the airline and people taking pictures of him, and it's now replaced the Bernie Sanders mittens photograph, because you got Ted Cruz looking like a deer in a headlight.
Oh no, I had no idea that people would recognize me, Ted Cruz, senator, in so many places.
Yeah. And also, I want to acknowledge someone else in the live stream chat. To honor the volcano, Kit should eat the whole fire ramen
We're going to
again.
do it again at some point.
We're going to do the Oodles and Noodles challenge again on our Patreon show. It will be available.
And we will make sure next time to have a little better preparation so we can invite our patrons to like a call with us so everyone can burn together.
Yes, it'll be another Oodles and Noodles challenge. So if you want to see us eat the Oodles and Noodles,
and just
consider being a Patreon supporter.
And think of also this with Andrew Cuomo. He's doing his fireside chats.
No.
Maybe that was just a distraction for the cremations from all those nursing homes.
Horrible joke.
Not a joke. I'm just saying things as they are.
Well, Fredo's older brother seems to be in trouble, and I think we should not forget that. With that being said,
let's call them Governor Fredo and TV Fredo.
Governor Fredo and TV Fredo.
Unless you guys have a better one.
Hey, listen, if you guys got something really good, type it in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation started. With that being said, a drink. Daniel, you got a story for the people. What is going on?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but it's a wonderful thing and to talk about because this is sort of a new ground that we're trying to work with in this world, which is... Well, let's get into it. But this has to do with the continuation of Australia versus Facebook, round 2. Yeah. Okay. So the Australian government has slammed Facebook's decision to block users in the country from all news content on its platform, a move that ended up affecting access to several government sites. Australia's Prime Minister, or I think there's some people call him the CEO of Australia, Scott Morrison, called Facebook's move arrogant and disappointing, while Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said it was, quote, wrong and unnecessary. The social media company on Wednesday announced its decision to ban Australian users from viewing and sharing news content. It came ahead of an expected decision by the Australian Parliament to pass a new media bill that would only require online platforms like Google and Facebook to pay news outlets for displaying and linking their content. Quote, Facebook was wrong. Facebook's actions were unnecessary. They were heavy-handed and they will damage its reputation here in Australia. Frydenberg said at a media briefing this Thursday, Facebook's actions are unfriendly to Australia today. Cutting off essential information services and health and emergency services were as arrogant as they were, disappointing. In addition to pages run by news outlets, several government-backed Australian accounts were also wiped clean by Facebook on Thursday morning. The government of pages affected include those providing updates on COVID panic and brushfire threats. Facebook's decision was in contrast to that of Google, who I actually thought would act in the same way as Facebook, but no, they actually made a deal. The latter on Wednesday said it agreed on a revenue-sharing deal with Australian media conglomerate News Corp. Now, sort of my issue with this entire thing historically has been that the law was basically written by News Corp and then given to the government. Like we talk about how 6 companies own 92% of media in America. I think in Australia, 80% are owned by News Corp. So it's a little more of a monopoly there, a little more power. So my question is, how about all the independent news sources that are remaining 20% in Australia? Do they get cut out by Google? I don't know the answer to this. I'm just asking. So anyway, they're continuing, which the media outlet that owns the Wall Street Journal and Washington Post. So again, this is what we've seen before. We've talked about this with the apocalypse that happened. It's the war between old and new media. And I'm not really sure that small media is even invited to fight or participate. But again, you guys can let me know in the comments. Facebook's overreach earlier Thursday that restricted Australians' access to non-news pages was a bad public relations move, said Tom Lever, the professor at Curtin University School of Media, Creative Arts and Social Inquiry. Quote, I think Facebook has lost the PR battle by enforcing a ban that's simply too wide. She told CNBC's Street Signs at Asia on Thursday, if Facebook was hoping that this would remind Australians of how important Facebook is, I think they're really going to remind that Facebook does things without considering the consequences on its users. So that's the story. That's the update. Facebook made this move and they shadow banned, let's say, and they did what, I feel like we've been covering stuff recently. It's like, oh wow, the people in power that are not used to this are dealing with what regular news organizations like us deal with all the time, and they're freaking out. I don't see them going, hey, stop it with us and these other people. It still seems very self-centered is my take on this, even though I know that there's some people that are making the point. It's like, look, there should be better revenue sharing. And I'm still going to say, well, once everyone gets revenue sharing, I'll agree. But I don't get the sense that that's the case from this. So, yeah, we're in a spot where Facebook has decided to pull all news because ostensibly it costs them money to do otherwise. We'll see if a deal gets made. We'll see if this affects anything. What do you think, Kit?
Well, once again, this is kind of reaffirming my belief that, sooner or later, I feel like we're going to have to delete Facebook. I don't trust it as a platform. I, for one, am disgusted by it. For some reason, I have no respect for it. It doesn't provide anything to real content creators, especially those who are starting off. We have worked firsthand when we were starting off as Hard Lens Media. A lot of our original content was put onto our Facebook page before we moved to YouTube. Yeah. And, it just, I want Facebook to lose. I wanted to lose based on a personal point of view, because whenever we uploaded original content, real content, then there's only one video that took off on Facebook.
Oh, and because we paid for it.
Yeah, and that was that documentary we did that we both paid for. But since then, like any other original content, from investigative journalism to interviewing people on the street, barely got any attention. But when we posted an article from corporate media or anything like that, it got all the attention in the world. So Facebook as a platform is antiquated in my point of view. I think it's since then has overreached its power, and it's abusing, a lot of freedoms. And this is just not an American issue. This is a international issue at this point. And so the role of Facebook, I say, should be how the dinosaurs went out, extinct, gone forever. For me, it doesn't provide any kind of information if it's willing to censor and deplatform people. Never forget what happened in 2018 when progressive channels, independents, and libertarian pages were taken down on Facebook because of AJ. I can't say his name on YouTube because, again, the censorship is very real.
Or because they wanted Palestinians to have some rights.
Yeah.
See, this is
and the other thing, too, I want to add on, too, is don't forget in 2016 when there were those pro-Bernie Sanders Facebook pages, too, that were taken down. So I don't trust Zuckerberg and his team to do the right thing. I want Facebook to lose. And this is just a personal opinion for our dealings with Facebook. And this also impacts so many other content creators there, too.
This still goes to my thing, because it's like, I want something balanced on this. So, okay. So where do we say? So I didn't see Australia standing up for all these pages when they were taken down by Facebook. We've actually done coverage of Australia actually taking down Facebook pages. So I feel that they're being a bit hypocritical in saying, woe is me, why is this happening? I don't get this, what's going on? That's one part on this, I think, that's big. And then another part is Australia, just like the US and all these other places, you've let Facebook monopolize the market to the point that it's so detrimental when this happens. And when people have asked Australia, and we've covered things about this in the past, and Australia was like, no, this is free market. They got to be able to do whatever they want. This is their business, blah, blah, blah. But again, now that it's affecting a News Corp, which is a powerful organization that has many newspapers and thought lead in Australia, all of a sudden they care deeply about Facebook censorship. So I have a bitter taste in my mouth on this whole thing. Because they're doing, when it affects them, they care. When it affects other people, they don't only not care, they're on board with it. And then they also gave them the power that they have now that they're using anyway. So it's like, and I don't believe that what they're doing right now is going to change any of that. It's just more self-preservation. So I feel bad for the people that aren't getting access to the things that they need with like COVID rollouts and stuff, because Facebook cast a wide net against a bill that was written to cover a very wide net. So again, it's a bit of the bill. It's basically lobbyists from News Corp wrote this bill and then sent it in, and then it got passed or is about to get passed. So as much as I agree with Kit, I want Facebook to lose. I also don't want News Corp to win.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Thank you for bringing that up. Maybe I'm just biased on this. Yeah, because News Corp wins. Okay, then we got a whole other thing to worry about. But on the other hand, too, it's just I think with me, I hate Facebook
because
more. I mean, because with Rupert Murdoch and News Corp, they already are who they are. They already told us who they are.
Here's the precedent that I worry about.
Okay,
if this happens and succeeds, it's already written corporate friendly as is,
right?
And we already know that CNN on YouTube, which was what we deal with, already sucks away all of the views that we should be getting, and giving it to them. So I am terrified in terms of case precedent that other people will copy from what happens in Australia, or they'll try and replicate, which is if you're a giant news corporation like News Corp, you get prioritized viewership, suggestions, CPM, and now on top of that, you get paid simply for existing. And I don't think that we're going to be able to join that. And so if that's the case, I actually would prefer Facebook not lose, because if all of a sudden all of old media basically controls the entire category of news and controls the funding of news, what are we doing?
Is there for the people in back who are crying, is there an option C?
Well, the world sucks, so build a time machine, go back 15 years, and start dealing with your stuff then. Because this is sort of I feel like we've been here yelling hey, don't let Facebook get too much power, and people are really governments are shut up. And now that they have too much power, they're like, oh no, we can't disseminate news because we rely on Facebook too much. Yeah. Also, corporate lobbying. I don't want anyone to win. I would prefer that here's a good case scenario that we have no control over.
A volcano happening?
No, well, that's a separate topic.
That'd be great. All right. Awesome.
It would be Facebook loses a huge amount of reputation, and then this bill falls apart at the same time. That's good case scenario. That's all we got. Or conversely, if they start going, okay, fine, everyone gets monetized and net neutrality.
Okay.
If you make the suggestions and everything flat, so it's not algorithmically boosting CNN, NBC, etc., and everyone gets the same platform of monetization. Yeah, I'm all for it, but I don't see that being the case now.
Okay, I can roll with that last one. That last option you had was probably the best case scenario, but sadly we won't see it. Yeah. I mean, if it does somehow happen, wow, what a happy miracle, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right now it's because Facebook has less effect on Australian politics than News Corp does. So News Corp's going to win.
All right, brace yourself, everyone. It's going to get stupid. Yeah. All right. With that being said, we're going to now move on to our next segment. Before we do, I want to acknowledge first a YouTube Super Chat and a Streamlab chat. Shout out to Roger Meadows, $2. If CNN, Chris Cuomo is Fredo, then is Andrew Sonny, Mike, or both? I would say Andrew would be Sonny. And if you haven't had the chance, check out our Rockfin movie review of Godfather 1, 2, and 3 on the Rockfin show. It's premium, so if you're a paid subscriber, you can check out our movie review of Godfather 1, 2, and 3. So, yeah. All right. We are now going to move on because I have a story for the people. So, remember Robinhood? Oh, wait. That's right. Thank you, FaZe, for the reminder. We got Streamlab chat too. $10. Who's it from?
This is from Alexandra, who says, Kit and Daniel, you are now my #1 source for the truth. I appreciate your intellect and humor.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate the Streamlabs Super Chats. And just a quick reminder about Streamlabs Super Chats, why they're different than YouTube Super Chats. Number one, you get an awesome graphic. Let's show them that graphic real quick. See, there we go. You get that awesome graphic. And then number two, when you donate to us on YouTube, YouTube takes 30% of the Super Chat that you send us, whereas Streamlabs only takes 2%. So that link, if you want to send us a Streamlabs Super Chat, is in the description box below. Just check it out, and it will be there for you guys to look at. But with that being said, we are going to move on to our next segment. Let's pull up Robinhood. Remember Robinhood, folks? and how the CEO basically screwed over his own customers.
Yeah, so it's like it went from Robinhood to the guy that steals from the rich and gives to the poor to robbing the hood.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's the only way you can parse out that, so it's going to work.
Exactly. So let's pull up that first video from Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. Let's play that video.
GameStop frenzy came to Congress Thursday. Lawmakers pressing executives about concerns over market manipulation. At the center of the drama, the free trading app Robinhood. Robinhood infuriated traders when it suspended trading of certain meme stocks like GameStop in the middle of a mob-fueled rally. The CEO, Vlad Tenev, said heavy trading forced his hand, but admitted he didn't handle the situation perfectly.
I'm sorry for what happened. I apologize, and I'm not going to say that Robinhood did everything perfect and that we haven't made mistakes in the past. But what I commit to is making sure that we improve from this, we learn from it, and we don't make the same mistakes in the future.
Tenev didn't elaborate on what
pause it right
those
there.
mistakes are, but
I just want to make a quick note that I'm really proud of the guy from No Country for Old Men that got promoted and now he's doing some more gainful work. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, at least he's finally got rid of that little machine that was plucking holes in people's heads. So there we go. All right, let's play the rest of it.
GameStop, AMC, and others were so wild, rocketing up so quickly, the company had to raise billions to cover cash requirements for the high-speed trading firms that clear those trades. One of those, Citadel. Its CEO, Ken Griffin, said his firm had no role in Robinhood's decision to restrict trading.
And as soon as you, can you pause it for 1 second? Sorry. And as soon as you hear that, he had a role, or somebody close to him had a role, or a friend of his had a role in regards to reaching out to the CEO, that kid of Robinhood, who is robbing people. They probably told him, hey, put a break on it right now, because
I don't know how they could possibly connect it. All their entire business relationship is simply that Robinhood sells all the user data to Citadel. How could they possibly have a strong connection? Yeah, I don't understand it.
Well, let's go ahead and play the rest of that video.
Tenev was also asked how Robinhood planned to be more transparent with its customers.
The $3.4 billion that we raised, I think, goes a long way to cushioning the firm from future market volatility and other similar black swan events. And I believe that even throughout this process, we improved our risk management processes and strengthened them so that the experience customers had Friday of that week was much improved from Thursday.
You can expect 2 more hearings on the GameStop saga. Laura, you could hear some of that background noise. This was the oddest financial services hearing I've ever been to. I mean, it started with a guy whose name is Roaring Kitty online saying, "I'm not a cat." And it ended with lawmakers sniping at each other and this feeling among financial journalists that some of these lawmakers had no idea how the guts of trading actually works. So it was bizarre. Expect 2 more hearings.
Which is too bad, because American people actually have a lot of answers about what happened there.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we pull up the next video, again, I'm glad they brought the fact that there was a lot of congressmen who didn't understand what was going on. That's a fundamental problem in Washington, D.C., especially with some of our senators and House representatives who are maybe 70 plus, 80 plus, dare I say it, even going to Dianne Feinstein numbers, 90 years old. We need elected officials that kind of know what's happening and to understand that the world is constantly moving. Technology has progressed a lot faster since the 1950s. And sadly, we have a Congress that not only is corrupt, but dare I say it, maybe not mentally prepared to deal with the upcoming challenges within the next few years. So, and also to these CEOs and Wall Street executives and hedge fund managers, you could build all the protections you want, but don't worry. What we saw with Wall Street bets, they'll knock down the door and kick it in, because people are clever. We'll find a way inside your precious little ivory tower. But don't worry, you're protected by Fox News. Hang on, everyone. You're going to hear the "I'm sorry, I think you deserve an apology" from the Fox News host defending the CEO of Robinhood. Let's play that first video, please.
I got on the phone and talked to David Batten. He's the former VP and General Counsel, Interactive Brokers, former SEC, CFTC, okay? Big deal, really looks at this with no political lens whatsoever. He says there's no evidence of any conspiracy. He's listened to the testimony all day. no disadvantage to the retail investor, a much higher likelihood that Robinhood restricted trading to manage their risk, to your point.
That's the key.
Because they got that margin call, okay?
Yes.
So that's in the fine print, that they can shut down trading on that at any point if they have to, and that's what they did.
They have to do it. By the way, gigantic firms have done this from time to time, Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch. I think we have a sound on tape of what the Robinhood fellow said. Can we still play that?
Despite the unprecedented market conditions in January, at the end of the day, what happened is unacceptable to us. To our customers, I'm sorry and I apologize.
Well, okay. I'm sorry he's sorry, but I didn't hear much on that one. Again, you got the basic points as far as I know. I'm not necessarily an expert.
He was dealing with an unprecedented situation, Larry. So can he look back and say there were some things he could have done better? Could he have been better prepared capital-wise? I don't know. I don't know what he could have done
Sometimes deep yogurt happens. I mean, that's just the way in life.
But one takeaway is you've got lawmakers on that committee.
Can I just, can we pause real quick? I'm going to sum up everything that they've said so far in about a sentence. They can't do anything wrong. Shut up.
Yep. Let's play that rest of the video.
And Omar,
Yes.
they're now saying tax the rich, put a tax on these stock trades. AOC, it's really something to see these Wall Streeters who treat our economy as a casino.
Oh, yes.
She wants to try to prevent all this high frequency. It is really important that they know that that's lowered the cost of trading for these retail traders.
That's key. It's lowered the cost of trading.
Higher the efficiency.
It's lowered the cost of capital and investment, which raises productivity and real wages for working families,
Amen.
which she will never understand
Amen.
because of
In
her
the Fox
socialist
Business
views,
studio.
which I respect but don't absolutely agree with it. All right, you know
what's about as rare as finding, let's say, as getting someone at Fox News to say the stock market made a mistake. You know, it's as rare as that.
What is it?
Women with pants.
All right, look, here's the issue. Again, you're going to see corporate media, and we've covered this before, corporate media doing everything they can to bend over backwards for the top 1%, hedge fund managers, Wall Street executives, and look, they're doing a defense for the fact that it's Wall Street that increases the wages. It's Wall Street that does this and that for the people. Let's have democracy here in the live stream chat, and when this video is clipped, obviously, there will be some democracy as well. Type 1 if you benefited from the actions that have been taking place in Wall Street ever in your entire life. Type 2 if you've never seen a damn thing from Wall Street. Let's get this conversation going, because I can't recall anything that Wall Street has done for us, save for the fact that they get less and less taxes, they get constant breaks, and when they crash the economy, they get a slap on the wrist. That's it. That's all I've seen. Maybe I'm blind to something. Daniel, have you seen anything like that before, buddy?
No, I'm just...
You're flabbergasted. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Hang on. Don't worry, folks. We got one more video to play. Let's get that video set up. Just one video, and then we'll move on to the next segment.
She sat on the Financial Services Committee during the last Congress. Congresswoman, I want to ask you about the child tax credit and COVID relief, but let's just get this GameStop, Robinhood stuff out of the way, because you explain these things better than most people. If you were on that committee right now and you were asking questions of those who have come before the hearing room today, what would you want to know?
Well, I would never reveal my sort of trademark questions beforehand, but I do think that this hearing is really about a question about whether our financial markets put everyday investors, small dollar investors, retail investors on the same footing as larger investors. There's going to be a lot of efforts to bash the hedge funds, to point fingers at why the trading was stopped. But the reality is those were market manipulation and pump and dump. Whether it's being done by retail investors, whether it's being done by a hedge fund, it's problematic. The real question to focus on here is our financial system allowing regular people to earn and have the opportunity to earn in the same way that it is the big guys?
Do you think Congress is going to be able to get to the heart of it? And would there be regulations involved? I mean, Robinhood, when it stopped the trading for GameStop, when the stocks hit a high price and decided that nobody could buy or sell any longer, They were essentially manipulating the system at that point. There was a lot of outrage. Should the federal government get involved in regulating apps like that?
Those kinds of stops when a share is experiencing extreme volatility actually happen to all different kinds of companies. They're part of good market regulation. I think what happened here is a lot of the people involved with Robinhood didn't know that, didn't understand that. And so what's really happening here is that everyday people are being invited into, via Robinhood and other technologies, are being invited into very complex trading strategies. I do think the question to ask here is, one, do we have the right regulations in place, and were they used properly here? If not, why not? Who's to be held?
Okay, let me sum this up again. The question asked to her was, should we be doing regulations? And the answer was BS, followed by, we should be figuring out if we should do regulations, thus not answering the question.
Yeah, but the infamous word salad response. And we saw that firsthand. I mean, you could say all the nice things you want, but here's the thing. On the one hand, Robinhood is a private company. However, they prided themselves. They said that they were there to help average people, make it. More or less, onto Wall Street, or use it at, earn some money on there. And I understand why people were using the Robinhood app, but, at the extent of which they, overreached their power, they stop people from buying and selling stocks.
And by the way, very important to the point that the very important point that needs to be made in this is she's making the point of, oh, this happens all the time. It didn't happen to anyone outside of the retail investors. All the Wall Street investors had complete access to buy or sell GameStop Act, so it wasn't a giant thing that affected everyone. It was a specific thing that targeted retail investors.
Yeah. And also, let's not forget, too, that Robinhood as a company has also failed in many times to help out their customers. We can't forget how one young man, we covered his story, took his life because he thought he owed 700,000 plus in debts, but it was really the Robinhood app that screwed up, and then they corrected it much later on. But that was after he took his own life.
And I want to also point out that if you watched, I watched a bit, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a lot of the testimony that was happening. And Maxine Waters made this one comment, and I'm like, that's ass backwards. She was inferring that someone self-deleted, got to be careful, because they had lost so much money, and they were basically blaming the retail people. That's the gist I was getting for not knowing what they were doing.
Yeah.
When, as Kit pointed out, rightly so, it was Robinhood not actively using the app properly, not having any customer support.
No, one, they didn't have proper customer support because this kid who was 20 years old, was scared and asking for help because he knew he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't get any customer support, no relief whatsoever, nobody to really talk to and say, hey, we're going to fix it for you. It was only after when he took his life that then Robinhood corrected itself. And so, the app has a lot of problems to it. And that young man is probably not the first nor the last person to have any problems with the Robinhood app. But now, again, the thing is Congress and corporate media are doing everything can to defend the Robinhood app. They need to change their name because that name Robinhood does not belong to the top 1%. But,
it's just, and it shouldn't be run by the guy from, what am I blanking on the name of the thing that I just referenced earlier?
Twilight?
No Country for Old Men.
No.
I think
he looks like a skinny, pale vampire.
He shouldn't be running it anymore. I mean, he should go back to killing cattle and people with the same tool.
And also, I want to give the final note to this too. People are saying in the live stream chat as well that Robinhood, shout out to Monarch, has no phone number.
That seems like a pretty, who probably does have a phone number that they can reach out to when this happens? People on Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, hey, as soon as something's going on, Wall Street will call up Robinhood and be, hey, Robinhood, time to stop screwing around. So we're going to move on now to our next segment. But before we do, again, I want to acknowledge everyone in the live stream chat. Shout out to all of our wonderful moderators that are doing a fantastic job. We're working on a lot of projects here at the 99 Perspective Studio. Just an update too, our Rockfin show is no longer at 4 p.m. p.m. It will be on the evenings every week from now on. I will be hosting it. Also, be sure to check out our fun channel, Chicago Reacts, and we are in the process of restarting Chicago Corner, but more on that
it'll come up.
Later notification.
We're just teasing it right now.
Yeah, we're
building a team.
Yeah, see,
I'm very excited.
We're slowly taking over this city. It's a scientific fact. However, Daniel, you have a story for the people. Yeah. I guess we're about to fire it up.
Okay, let's talk about this.
What's going on?
Okay, so I love this article. I love the way it's written because it is what it should be. So if you didn't hear, Biden did a town hall. Don't worry, we're not showing any of it. Don't want you to go to sleep right now. But I want to talk about this because it's all about the ratings. And CNN's like, oh my God, finally someone's watching us. So that's basically the gist of this. Let's talk about it. The President of the United States had a very good night on his CNN town hall on Tuesday. Not only did Joe Biden make it clear there was a new kind of POTUS in office, or an old kind, I don't know, but the seasoned politician won ratings and viewership race in a near landslide. We're going to get into it's not quite a landslide, but it is pretty near. In his first such appearance since moving into the White House on January 20th, Biden's 9 to 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time stint on AT&T-owned cable newser snagged. I love how they're AT&T owned. I thought it might be the first time I've read an article that's wonderful. Snagged 3.5 million viewers and an audience of 880,000 in the adults in the 25 to 54 news demographic. So, like the amount that, a very large YouTube channel gets in a couple hours or a day, maybe. Anyway, that's a small 6% bump in the total sets of eyeballs from how he in his last socially distanced CNN hall back in September 17th. The results of last night's Anderson Cooper moderated event also topped both Fox News' channels Hannity and MSNBC's The Rachel Maddow show. She's like, I don't know, there's no Russia. What am I going to talk about? And viewership by 24% and 18% respectively. So I'm just going to summarize that for you in other words. Joe Biden's town hall did 24% better than just a normal Sean Hannity day.
Wow, so slow news day. And don't get that confused with the awesome YouTube channel Slow News Day, but a slow news day for the town hall. Biden did
record-breaking CNN numbers only beat an average show of Sean Hannity's by 24% and Maddow's by 18%.
That's nothing to be proud of.
No, it's not. So
there's nothing to be proud of at all. Yeah. This is like, hey, we kind of won. We were 2 points ahead, but we did it. Like, it's what?
Oh my God, you got the president on your channel for an hour and 15 minutes, and 25% more people watch than Sean Hannity just like doing Sean Hannity. So, yeah.
Okay, well, if this is the bar, then we're going
to... They're making it seem like, oh, my God. I guess for CNN, these are good numbers. So, Biden's town hall beat Tucker Carlson tonight, the second most watched show on cable, by about 4.2%. So, even Tucker Carlson's, average day is, just within a 5% margin.
Wow.
4.2%.
That is not good.
Isn't it pathetic?
That's really pathetic. You had the president of the United, because see, if that was Trump,
that'd be way bigger.
It'd be way bigger. Trump is good at getting crowds. And if you don't like it, too bad. It's a fact.
Yeah. So anyway, focusing on the 25 to 54 demo, Biden's town hall at Milwaukee's Pabst Theater. But remember, and we also covered it, Biden's like, I got to sell the idea of giving the American people checks and stuff, so I'm going to go to a state that already agrees with me. Not West Virginia, not where Joe Manchin is.
Not in Arizona.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, not in Arizona or West Virginia, because those are where the two Democratic senators are against the $15 minimum wage and the stimulus check.
And his town hall at Milwaukee's Pabst Theater before an audience of about 60 voters. And again, it's like, oh, yeah, we definitely didn't handpick these people and got a nice fair. Anyway, whooped FNC and MSNBC by 124% on just the demo of people that aren't in nursing homes. Because remember, the average age for CNN NBC and Fox is like 70 on average. It's like 68, 70, 72. So they're just like, oh my God, we got a lot of younger people here. And so in that case, it's like, sure, but there aren't that many people watching. There aren't many young people in that age bracket that are watching these other shows regardless. So it's like, okay. Oh, and overall, in terms of viewers, Fox News was the most watched cable newser in primetime last night with 2.9 million viewers compared to CNN. So it looks like they actually didn't even win overall. Fox News still beat them out in total viewership. So,
well, they can't beat Fox News because I'm gonna inside baseball. This is something that me and Daniel learned when we were doing a lot of field reporting. Fox is the one that you want to work for. I mean, if you want to earn money or like either that get some extra income, like that's the one. But like, you know, again, it's just a rosier picture. If you are like Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson, like Fox is where you want to work because that's where they're able to generate more stuff. And it says a lot about Rupert Murdoch and what he's doing with News Corp because Fox News is under News Corp, right? Or are they two separate things?
They're basically one of the Fox News is owned by News Corp.
Yeah. Okay. So again, it's really pathetic though that the town hall couldn't even garner in more viewers. So because remember, corporate media was saying that Biden was able to really impact people and touch their souls and make them feel nice. Well, gee, I guess it's not a long-lasting impact because maybe people are realizing that Biden just doesn't give a damn about them and probably never did.
Yeah, I just feel like, I feel like I'm getting tired just talking about Biden right now, just thinking about him, drone on. But it's like, yeah, so there you have it. Biden goes on CNN and they barely beat anyone else's ratings because Biden is just that much of a bore. Yeah. And I will remind everyone again, he's in the wrong state. He needs to be in West Virginia.
Yeah, true, man. All right, we're going to move on now to our next segment. And so here's the thing. It's a little bit of a follow-up to Daniel's story. As these future town halls happen, Daniel, watch the viewership slowly decrease. And you want to know why? It's because we're still playing the waiting game and promises are being broken. The Joe Biden and his administration are going again back, flip-flopping on their promises for student debt cancellation. They're forgetting that they owe us $2,000 in stimulus checks. And now apparently we're going to have to be still waiting for that $15 minimum wage. But first, let's start with the stimulus package. Just a quick reminder, myself and Daniel actually did a pizza bet of when we would get our stimulus check. I chose any time in the month of April. Daniel chose any time in the months of May. Whether or not we get it has yet to be seen. Let's play this video from Case Study QB. Maybe we'll get an idea of when we'll get our stimulus checks, maybe not, but it looks like we're all playing the waiting game. But don't worry, wait till you hear about the debacle about the $15 minimum wage. Let's play this video.
I'm just heading to Michigan today to visit Pfizer as Democrats plan an all-out push to get the coronavirus relief bill passed and soon. CNN's Daniela Diaz is live on Capitol Hill with us this morning. Daniela, how is the president keeping up momentum on this bill?
Good morning, Laura. As you said, President Biden is planning to visit this Michigan plant, this Pfizer Michigan plant, to try to continue promoting his massive 1.9 COVID-19 package. House Democrats are taking a major step to pass this package, starting with the House Budget Committee meeting early next week to pass this. Then it will go to the full House chamber for a vote. After that, it will go to the Senate, where they're trying to pass this using budget reconciliation, which means it needs a simple majority or 51 votes to pass. If every single Democratic senator signs on, Vice President Kamala Harris will likely be the tie-breaking vote for this. Then the House and Senate will reconcile the differences of their bill, where it will then go to President Biden's desk. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was clear she's hoping to see this on Biden's desk by mid-March because she thinks it's important that this get passed before millions of Americans lose their unemployment benefits. Laura?
All right, Daniela, thank you so much.
All right. So the gist of that entire video: be prepared to wait, and wait for the stimulus check. And again, remember, during that Georgia election, it was said that right out the door, as soon as those two Democratic lawmakers were put into office, we would get our stimulus checks just like that. $2,000 in our hands, just like that. Perfect, But oh wait, it didn't happen, because then apparently out of the blue, which was never told by me or anyone else, apparently that $600 was the down payment, and we're really going to get $1,400. So that's going to be lovely to talk about. But there's one other thing too I want to bring up, and it's an article that I found from Politico that's basically saying Biden privately tells governors minimum wage hike likely isn't happening.
Good to see him fighting for us.
So again, I take a lot of pride on not voting blue, no matter who. I take a lot of pride in voting third party. And once again, it's the Democrats and all those people that were constantly browbeating us saying, oh, you got to vote blue. You got to vote blue. No. This once again reaffirms my belief that I cannot trust the Democratic Party, and we got to look at something else. We got to look at alternatives like Moving for People's Party, Green Party, Libertarian Party. Time for something different. When Joe Biden met with a group of mayors and governors last week, he bluntly told them, get ready for a legislative defeat. So already, where's the victory? I thought we were going to be winning this. The Democrats have the majority in the House and Senate and the presidency, and they're already acting like losers.
Yep.
2022 is going to be funny. It's going to be really funny. I'm taking that line from that parody video when Trump was running in 2016. Remember that video that you showed me a long time ago? It was from Cracked, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. 2022 is going to be hilarious. Wait till you see all that's going to pop out of the woodwork. His proposed minimum wage hike was unlikely to happen, he said, at least in the near term. I really want this in there, but it just doesn't look like we can do it because of reconciliation, Biden told the group. According to a person in the room, I'm not going to give up, but right now we have to prepare for this not making it. So what does that tell me? Joe Biden and his administration cannot rein in Joe Manchin or Senator Sinema as well. Those are the two Democratic senators that are against the $15 minimum wage hike that we would see in 2025. So I don't know what these Democratic lawmakers are panicking about. 5 years, we can wait till $15 minimum wage when the $15 minimum wage is still not enough, when people are starving in this damn country. And the sad fact is, people are still waiting in line for food. People are still being evicted from their homes. You got people freezing in southern states. We're still dealing with this pandemic, and we're in the midst of an economic crisis. Medical debt, student debt. But don't worry, Biden and his team are saying, well, wait, we can't do anything. They can't do anything at all. This is what happens when you vote for somebody that has no spine at all. So all those pragmatic vote blue no matter who people, here's your heavyweight champion. The comments, which were confirmed by two other people familiar with the conversation, were the furthest Biden has gone in conceding the coming axing of $15 an hour minimum wage provision from his first major legislative package. And they suggested that the president is more inclined to manage the fallout of it not being included than to pursue long shot political capital consuming efforts to fight for its insertion. Just like those Democratic lawmakers that backed down from forced to vote, even though they ran on Medicare for all. Mm-hmm. See, this is the typical actions of the Democratic Party and their vote blue no matter who sycophants. We can't fight for it. We don't know what to do. How's that going to inspire confidence? So never again. I mean, if you voted for Biden, like, remember, if you're forced in choosing the lesser of two evils, always remember that when you play that game, you're still voting for evil. Biden is just basically smiling at you, giving you ice cream, all the while you are starving and have no money in your back pocket. Tell me, how's that any different than Trump? At least when Trump gives you the middle finger, it's more upfront and refreshing. I prefer brutal honesty than a lying smile.
Is he able to smell it really?
What, Biden?
Yeah,
he does so, but it's creepy.
Yeah,
it's very creepy.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. In fact, there's a still image from one of the Democratic primaries that I use sometimes for the for the thumbnails. Don't do it. Please don't. The article goes on to continue. For weeks now, the White House has been trying to manage expectations on the feasibility of advancing a $15 an hour minimum wage provision through a broader rescue package. Biden first suggested it might not make it into the final COVID relief bill in an interview with CBS prior to the Super Bowl, noting his belief that the Senate parliamentarian would determine it did not jibe with budgetary rules that allow the bill to pass with just 51 votes in the Senate. His comments drew pushback from fellow Democrats. Oh, here, this That's a pushback from the Democrats. They're just pushing air. Who argued that raising the minimum wage isn't just necessary for an economically battered country, but is sound politics as well. They have urged the White House to find avenues of making reconciliation compliant to push party members skeptical of a major minimum wage hike to get on board and to consider the procedural nuclear option of having the party with Vice President Kamala Harris serving as a tie-breaking vote, overruling the parliamentarian. So here's the sad fact, folks. All right, we're just going to stop with this article. We're not getting anything. And I think, dare I say it, and I'm hoping I'm wrong about this, but I think my prediction is coming true. 2021, the Democrats aren't laying any groundwork for them to be in an advantageous position for 2022, that midterm election cycle. And, if the Democrats want to lose their majority in the House and Senate, well, it's what they're good at. They're really good at losing. At least when you're watching the Harlem Globetrotters fight the Washington Generals, at least the Washington Generals are paid to lose, and you get an entertaining game. You see the Harlem Globetrotters.
Wait, do you really get an entertaining game, though?
It's actually fun. You see all the acrobatics of the basketball game. It's pretty entertaining because you see the Harlem Globetrotters do all these great tricks, and see at least the Washington Generals, they know, and the audience knows that they're supposed to be bumbling buffoons, but the Democrats are supposed to be these lawmakers, these politicians that know how to play the game, but they really don't. Dare I say it? This might be a controversial comment, but if you were to get the team of the Washington Generals inside Congress and take the seats from the Democrats, they might be able to be more effective in getting things done than the Democrats. So Bernie Sanders, remember your good friend Joe Biden? Yeah, because he's your friend. You said that. He's your friend, Bernie. Remember you said Joe is your good friend? He's not doing the $15 minimum wage increase. We're still waiting for our stimulus checks. People are still being evicted from their homes. We're not getting Medicare for all. That's your good friend, Bernie. And to those 15 congressmen and women that were on the petition for force to vote, hey, where's your pushback? Aren't you going to hold his feet to the fire, or are you just holding your nose, ignoring the smell, and knowing the fact that you basically have given up on fighting for people? So explain to me, vote blue no matter who, blue manga, however you want to call yourselves. Why should I vote Democrat? I mean, I guess my vote's not needed at all, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a good portion of this population that are feeling the exact same way about the Democrats and the progressive Democrats that are in Congress, because they haven't earned my vote or confidence, and I'm going to be voting third party in the midterms. So there. Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. It's like everything we've been saying would happen with the Democrats is happening. They're not fighting for anyone. They're not even pretending to. They're literally going, oh, Joe Manchin disagrees with us. What can we do? They're going to just get destroyed in 2022. And then what do we get? We get probably back to where we were before, and America continues to decline.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll know things are really crap as soon as Near Tandon gets confirmed. Yeah. As soon as that happens, it's like, all right, there you go. So blue MAGA, vote blue no matter who. You got your wish. You got what you wanted. I'm thoroughly.
By the way, can I just put out there to all the quote progressives that said, "Hey, I'm not going to go for force the vote because your words are violence or something equivalent to that." What are you doing now? You said you were holding in for something big. Everyone's ignoring you. So it seems like you just abandoned everyone for nothing.
Daniel, I'll tell you what one of their heavyweight champions is doing when Cenk tweeted out against Joe Rogan that, oh, I'm happy Texas, one positive thing that Texas is freezing over, that Joe Rogan's freezing. I mean, remember, Cenk was for force to vote, but then against it and said, we got to keep our powder dry and then we'll use it. So he's using his powder to go ahead and try and get in a Twitter beef with Joe Rogan.
By the way, it's like they keep saying keep their powder dry so long. I'm envisioning King's Landing in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. Yeah. So there we go. The blue vote blue no matter who crowd, all those progressives that were against force to vote. Where are you at? How come you are silent? How come you are quiet? Your silence is violence. To those 15 congressmen and women that were on the force to vote petition, you're awfully quiet. But don't tweet things out. I mean, don't say things I want to hear. What are your actions? What are you going to do to make sure we get a $15 minimum wage increase? Not in 5 years, but right now. Where's our $2,000 stimulus check? Are you protecting homeowners and renters? Are you making sure we get Medicare for all? Are you doing anything, or are you just tweeting along? Because when the 2022 midterm election cycle comes along, I promise you this, especially if the Democrats keep screwing around, me and Daniel are going to be very, very mean with our words. We're going to use adjectives, pronouns, adverbs.
Might even use a comma. Oxford.
You know what? I might be so bold to use a hyphen between one word or two.
Oh, that's violence, man.
It's beyond violence. It's first degree.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move to
real quick. I want to give a note to FaZe. Let's try his last rant that he just did with Bernie and Biden. Okay. Don't worry about that. It'll make sense at some point.
Of course. That's why we always have these commercial breaks. In fact, somebody said we should do a music sound when we do commercial breaks in the live stream chat. But we'll figure it out. We got a lot of stuff we're working on. But we did get a Streamlabs super chat. Who did we get that from?
From Aspen. Where's my $2,000, Joe Biden? I need to buy lava and lava accessories. Hashtag volcano party.
Hashtag volcano party. I'm
all for lava accessories. I own quite a few.
Well, I'm all for the geothermal power that the volcano party offers.
Yes.
And also, I am actually proud to say that me and Daniel are part of the key advisory committee for the volcano
we're
party.
Proud of it.
And we're proud of it. We actually have a candidate, Bacon for president. He will tell you what the sizzle is going on.
I was going to say he has some sizzlingly good points.
Sizzling good points. And I think we should all look into the hashtag volcano party. So there we go.
I feel like, we're saying this, but in like 10 years time, it's like, okay, our first volcano party candidate is.
Actually, no. Here, we'll set up the scenario. Volcano party becomes a real thing. I walk up to the podium. Many years ago, we made this as a joke. I am as surprised as all of you in this room as well. And the volcano party has been doing very well. So let's get these hot topic issues happening and pass them in the United States Senate and the House. Ladies and gentlemen, meet our candidates for the volcano party.
I would not. I would love it. There's so much metaphorical things you can get out of a volcano. It can either explode when it's angry, which would represent the civilian population.
Yes.
Exploding when they're angry and trying to get stuff on the street. It could also just be kind of a streaming volcano like in Hawaii, which makes the soil immensely rich and fertile. There's the elements. It increases land area so that everyone has more room to operate in. It also cleans up and burns away the impurities around us. And you can throw bad people in it.
Yeah, and garbage too, and everything else. And volcanoes are pretty awesome. I mean, from a safe distance. You don't.
Well, again, it depends on what we're doing.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. So,
volcanoes, Earth's pimples.
Earth's pimples that do good. Who says we don't have fun at Hard Lens Media, huh? Who says? With that being said, we're going to go to our backyard here in the city of Chicago. Daniel Lupker, you have a story for the people. What is going on?
Okay, so this was a local story, and this is the story we're developing on Chicago Corner, so stay tuned whenever that does happen. But, the Chicago mayor, and here in Chicago, one of the most corrupt city besides DC.
We're number one,
has decided that when she got all the COVID funding, she's just going to give it to the police and just be like, that's good. So let's talk about it.
Wow.
Progressive aldermen and community groups slammed Mayor Lori Lightfoot on Thursday for using $281 million in COVID-19 federal relief funds to cover the cost of salaries and benefits for Chicago's police department, which already gets over half the money in local taxes, saying the money would have, and also nothing gets solved. It's like, hey, if you kill someone in the city of Chicago, there's like a 75% chance you're going to get away with it. Just any crime is about that level because we're really bad at what we do. So, the money would better been spent helping Chicagoans endure the economic collapse during the pandemic. The city council's approved Lightfoot's plan and spent $1.2 billion in federal funds designed to help the city cover the cost of responding to the pandemic in June. But 9 aldermen voted no because the mayor declined to block funds from being used to reimburse the Chicago Police Department for responding to the pandemic. Quote, the pandemic has been a crisis like none we've ever experienced, the city official said in a statement through it, the budget office has worked with all city departments to ensure that they have the necessary resources. Daniel Spada, First Ward, is a member of the Chicago chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America, said he was furious that aldermen were not provided with a detailed account of how the relief funds were spent until this week. Remember, that's like half a year has passed, and now we have some numbers. Quote, "We have every right to be angry," he said during the virtual news conference hosted Thursday morning by United Working Families, a progressive political group aligned with the Chicago Teachers Union. The long-running dispute over whether to reduce the budget for the Chicago Police Department amid calls for reform after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Minneapolis police custody is back in the City Hall spotlight as the Lightfoot administration gears up to ask aldermen to approve her plan for $68 million in unspent federal spending money from the relief package approved in May 2020. Officials also will present their plan for spending the $261 million from the relief plan approved in December at a meeting. Then the aldermen are expected to be asked to approve a proposal to earmark $80 million for a new round of rental assistance grants for 5,000 residents. The city already sent $94 million in rental assistance to Chicago residents. So basically, they have spent $281 million just to give the police money. Because, they don't have enough already, and only $80 million for 5,000 residents in assistance. So I'm just going to really quickly pull out my calculator function on my phone, and I'm going to do some very quick math and say $80 million divided by 5,000.
Education with Hard Lens Media.
So that's $16,000 per resident in rental assistance, which seems a little silly because I don't ever see the city spending $16,000 per resident on any amount of assistance, especially when we know the average person in debt is $6,000 in debt. So I wonder where this $16,000 breaks into and who actually gets paid for it. Chicago, everyone, this is how it works here.
Remember, so I just wanted to bring a few things up, and I'm actually going to filibuster real quick because, Faze, I would like you to pull up an image of the book Chicago's Not Broke, because we got about 330 people, 320 give or take, and I want you guys to kind of understand about why Chicago's not broke. But first, let me just address just a few people in the live stream chat. E. Heller, one of our moderators, the majority of Chicago aldermen are also responsible for voting to give Mayor Lightfoot emergency budget authority. That is true.
Yep.
Shout out to Jane Sediction, I think that's how you say your name. Who needs Al Capone, the unofficial saint of Hard Lens Media? Just me speaking. When you have Chicago cops, that's true. And it's rather depressing to know and knowing that our city is doing this. Also, here in the city of Chicago as well, about Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She won with a landslide because she ran on campaign promises to fight for a better future. She ran on the campaign promises of doing more and breaking away from the leadership style of Mayor Rahm Emanuel. But since then, she has flip-flopped and forgot everything that she stood for. And, it's rather depressing to see this happen, because I actually had high hopes for Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I thought she would do well. Let's pull up that image of Chicago's Not Broke. So here's the thing. This is a book that's written by Tom Tresher. He's been on our show before. We've interviewed him numerous times. And this book is just about this thick, not too much a big read, but it'll explain to you about the TIF funds and why Chicago actually has the resources to take care of its citizens, its communities, but the mayor and city government have chosen not to. They're not going to do anything with the TIF funds, and we're still waiting for that. Yeah. And, added on to this, Mayor Lightfoot has gone on the record of being against universal basic income. I could see that budget, that emergency relief could be used to help out residents here in the city of Chicago, but she has chosen not to do that as well. She's chosen not to do anything for the people. And I find that heartbreaking and depressing that our mayor would allow that to happen. And I'm curious how this will play in 2023 when the city has its next municipal election.
Yeah.
Daniel, any other final notes you want to bring in there?
Okay. Well, we have this here after.
We do actually have a YouTube super chat. Okay, cool. We got a from Jane Sigixian. I think I'm saying your name right. If YouTube can potentially be sued for videos it hosts, could streamers get in trouble for the things they say in chat? Stream publishes the chat.
It depends on the laws that we're talking about. There are certain cases where, it becomes a direct issue. And then there's other cases where, no, it isn't. It has to do with really how these sites are classified. But it's in a sense, we can't really give you a direct answer on that because it's so case by case to what you're talking about. This is written in a very general way when it really matters on what the bill is.
I also want to acknowledge another YouTube super chat from a good friend of the show, Craig Pasta. Jerdula, $2. Why are we not live on Rockfin? Join us. We do have the ability to be live on Rockfin and YouTube. We know how to do that.
We went live earlier today.
But our goal on Rockfin is to make it different than our YouTube channel. So when our subscribers join us on Rockfin, they're getting different content. So shout out to Craig. Dude, I will convert you to Chicago style pizza, my friend. Do not listen to Fiorella Isabel. That's right. And I said her name correctly
the
this time.
pizza wars continue. But we were live actually earlier today and the stream died.
Yes. So our Rockfin video will be up tonight, or actually it is up right now, and I will tweet it out on the Harlan's Media Twitter account. I also want to acknowledge a Streamlab super chat. FaZe, what is going on?
From the Whitefell DM, I checked out the HLM merch store and bought a must-have mug. With that being said, may I suggest baseball hat, socks, boxers, key sling, and a personal request to HLM lava lamp to embrace the volcano-based solutions.
I don't think they have a lava lamp in the inventory last I checked.
We will have to find out.
We'll have to figure out. But basically, where we're at with merch, because I sort of know so you've probably made the one purchase of merch that we sell a month just now. So that's sort of where we are priority-wise. Like, everyone's out of money because the economy is terrible. If we want people to go somewhere, we really want them to either go to Patreon or to Rockfin, and then merch is a distant category. But people don't have as much money as they.
But we do appreciate all the support from you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have another round of merch at some point, and once we are able to, once we see that people are buying it, we'll make more of it. But right now we understand a lot of people have the issues.
And Craig Pasta goes on to say, New York pizza is way better than that Chicago deep dish crap. Well, first of all, Chicago has deep dish pizza, tavern style pizza, pot pie pizza,
New York style.
And you know what? We do New York style better. In fact, we all call it Chicago style. Why? Because Chicago style pizza, when we make pizza, no matter what form it is, we Chicagoans make it out of love. Love and compassion.
I've never seen a guy from LA defend New York so hard.
So, with that being said, we are going to be starting the Patreon show in just a little bit. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, that link is...
And actually, we have breaking news from Barron Saturday that Craig is working with Tim Pool, and that's all the more reason that he probably picked the New York style.
What?
I'm not sure it's accurate, but I'm going to roll with it.
What? No, don't worry. Craig would not be working with Tim Pool.
I know. It explains everything.
Okay, so if you want to be a Patreon supporter, that link is in the description box below. Be sure to subscribe to our Rockfin channel. It will really help us grow that channel up. We want to make it different from now on. Rockfin will be on later in the evenings, 3 times a week. We don't have a set schedule for it. We will be working on it. We are also we have a team working on restarting Chicago Corner. That is, it will continue happening. It's going to be a slow pace thing, but we will be promoting their videos on our Twitter account. So be sure to follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord as well. Check out our fun channel, Chicago Reacts, where we react to fun YouTube channels.
Kit just did a wonderful reaction. I think is one of the best ones on the channel from Internet Historian a couple days ago. Definitely go watch that.
Yes. Also, we have also something else that I want to bring to everyone's attention too. We are working on so many other projects here at our studio. We can't give too much away, but we are setting things up to be very interesting in the spring and summer. I want to give a shout out to Daniel Upker for being my co-host. Shout out to our tech priest and Zir Face for manning the board. Shout out to our moderators, the wonderful Ayana, Mona Carmona, Ali Alexandria, Fred Edward, E. Heller, Gamer for Life. You guys have been doing a fantastic job moderating our live stream chat. Shout out to all of you guys as well. Again, Hard Lens Media is live every Monday through Friday on our YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and share our content on social media. It will really help us beat the YouTube censorship and algorithm. Be sure to subscribe to us on Rockfin, subscribe to Chicago Corner and Chicago Reacts. Daniel, what's one more word?
Next week, I'm going to be doing more fun sort of, let's say not as classy videos as we do normally on the show. Right here, we do like news stories and commentary. I'm going back to what we used to do about a year ago, which were called Perspectives. If a few of you probably remember these. So basically, first of all, make sure you're joined into Discord. Tomorrow, I'm going to set out a message for people with the criteria of what I'm looking for. I want you guys to help me find really good videos. I'll make sure that I will mention the people that suggested the videos. I'm looking for videos I can sort of tear apart that are recent, that either have to do with like online people saying dumb things or dumb tweets that have happened, but I'll give the details for it. But I really want to try and make this a thing that we can do together, where we can sort of crowdsource things that we can crap on.
Yes, and one other final note. Shout out to the crew at the Convo Couch. They've been really good to us. Craig, be sure to tell Fiorella that, look, Chicago-style pizza will solve all the problems. And it helps people in their hearts.
I understand, but the problem is they don't have access to Chicago pizza, so they can't really prove it until they come to Chicago, and then we take them out for
exactly. And here's the thing. We're going to have a pizza cook-off. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we here at Hard Lens Media are prepared to win. And want to know why? Because we win so much, everyone's heads are going to be spinning. They're going to be like, guys at Hard Lens Media, stop winning so much. And we're going to be like, we can't. We don't know how. We want to keep on winning. I'm Kit Cabello, the host of Hard Lens Media. Peace to you guys. And now more than ever, let us all do what we can to build a better future.
See you on the Patreon show.